Now, Mexico's most wanted man, the drug lord known as El Mencho, has been killed in a military operation. Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes was the leader of the feared Jalisco New Generation drug cartel. The US had previously offered a reward of $15 million for information leading to his arrest. I'm joined now by journalist Adam Hancock, who is in Mexico City. Hi, Adam. Just explain then how this operation unfolded.
Yeah, we've had more details from the military here in the last few hours. It was a dawn raid in the central western states of Jalisco. The military were trying to capture El Mencho, but it seems that there was some kind of shootout between members of the cartel and members of the military. And during that shootout, it seems that El Mencho himself was actually injured. We understand that the military then tried to transport him on a plane to here in Mexico City, but he actually died from his injuries. And this is quite an incredible moment, really, in the ongoing war against the drug cartels here in Mexico. He's a huge figure leading one of the most feared drug cartels in the country, very much mentioned in the same breath as the likes of El Chapo. And it certainly sent shockwaves around the country today. But it's certainly also something that the United States are going to be paying a lot of attention, because there's been a lot of pressure from President Trump and the administration on the Mexican government to do more about drug trafficking going up to the United States from Mexico, also the production of fentanyl and the action of the cartels who are so powerful here in this country. But today now, with the death of El Mencho, the authorities here certainly have a prized asset that they can show to President Trump to say that they are taking this very seriously.
And how big was the cartel that he was involved in? Clearly, it was very well known to the authorities. He was notorious.
Absolutely, yeah. He's long been on the radar of the United States. He was actually spent a few years in prison for drug-related offences back in the 1990s in the US. But when he returned to Mexico, he continued to be involved in drug trafficking. And this specific cartel that he was leading, they really spread out from Jalisco state across the whole country, generating billions of dollars of income through their operations. But a sense of how powerful they are has also been seen today in the reaction that we've had, in particular in Jalisco state, where there have been people out on the streets, gunmen out on the streets, cars being burned, blockades being set up, and just general violence happening in large parts of Mexico. A lot of states, the US Embassy have put out a warning to US citizens here in Mexico to shelter in place because of the violence. And that shows how powerful these cartels are, how far their networks run. And the response is often the same way. When one of the kingpins, when one of the leaders of these cartels, when they are arrested or taken out, we often see violence flare up. And that is exactly what has happened today.
And I believe a number of troops killed as well in this operation. Is that right?
Yeah, I've definitely heard reports of troops being injured and other people being killed during the operation. It's not yet confirmed exactly who they were, but it certainly sounds like there was a shootout and it wasn't a smooth process in the process of trying to capture El Mencho. Now in the state, it seems to be a very severe state of emergency right now. We've seen across the state, including coastal areas, tourists there, very confused because they're seeing lots of fires. They're hearing gunfire, and they're also hearing reports from the US telling them to shelter in place. Some international airlines have cancelled flights to the coast in Jalisco state. And we saw some pretty shocking footage earlier from Guadalajara International Airport of people running through the airport, panicking. You could see smoke rising in the distance. And just a reminder, of course, that Guadalajara is one of the host cities for the World Cup, which is going to take place here in just a few months' time.
Just finally, Adam, we know that the United States is very worried about fentanyl, especially coming across the border from Mexico. Was that the main drug that they were trafficking?
Yeah, one of them, fentanyl production, was certainly something that they were involved in. Also, a lot of cocaine was sent from here in Mexico up to the United States as well. You may remember earlier this year that this particular cartel was actually designated as a foreign terrorist network by President Trump. And he's continuously talked about the need for Mexico to do more about cartels, even threatening US intervention if more isn't done. So I think today, for the Mexican authorities, it's certainly a win in terms of taking out one of the leaders of the biggest and most feared cartels. But they'll certainly be nervous about the violence that we're now seeing across the country.
Yeah, especially, as you say, with the US Embassy in Mexico telling people to shelter in place in those areas affected. Adam Hancock, we appreciate your time tonight. Thank you very much. Adam Hancock in Mexico City for us.